This is Reality Jukebox. Hi everybody, welcome to realityjukebox.com. We're doing a Christmas special, so ring those bells, pull those crackers, and we're going to be talking about Christmas songs and Christmas and everything that is related to it in this particular episode.
All things sleigh bells in the air.
Merry Christmas, George.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.
So before we start, what do you reckon is the most unsuitable Christmas present or presents you've ever had?
Recently, for Secret Santa, actually, somebody gifted me a toy crossbow. This was actually, I think, last year. At the grand old age of 27, I was gifted a toy crossbow, which admittedly is a lot of fun around your friends, but there's not much else you can do with it once the novelty's worn off of, firing at a few people. The little suction arrows that stick to the wall and stuff. When I was younger, I'm pretty sure I received like a Liverpool FC football calendar or something along those lines. As a devout Chelsea fan, that's highly offensive. And then obviously the copious amounts of Lynx Africa gift sets that seem to come in every year as well, which are a staple now. But I'm grateful for all gifts, obviously. What about you? What's the most unsuitable gift you think you've received?
I've got two.
Okay.
I had my first band. I lived the dream, single coming out, that kind of stuff, and I had like 26 waist, leopard skin trousers or whatever it was,
rock and roll,
pink hair. Yeah, it was real rock and roll.
Yeah, nice.
And I was very young, and one of my relatives gave me a Christmas present, and my mum used to have everyone around on Christmas Day. And she gave me a Christmas present, opened up, and it was a blue V-neck, powder blue V-neck Slazenger jumper with a Slazenger logo on it.
Very rock and roll.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was totally unsuitable. I was very polite, but, it was, I think my dad probably, my dad would have got that, whatever.
Yeah.
And then the other one was quite a few years later where an ex-girlfriend gave me this present, I unwrapped it. And anyone that knows me, I am atrocious at DIY. Mm-hmm. You give me anything to do with music or electrical to wire up, I can do all of
Golden.
that. But and it was a miniature DIY kit with a set of pliers, which actually I've still got. It came in handy. A screwdriver, and I think it was a hammer, right? But DIY is in the genes.
Yeah.
And I remember my sister was present, who absolutely cried with laughter.
Yeah.
Because she knew me, I was like, and it was really funny. It was a really nice idea. It was lovely, but it was funny. And they're the two, that come to mind.
I feel like I would ask you to record an album, but I wouldn't ask you to put a shelf up. And now I know you've got a hammer. Who knows?
Exactly.
On the flip side of that, then, what is the best Christmas gift that comes to mind? One of the best ones you've had, or something that sticks out at you as being a particularly nice gift.
Oh, there's quite a few.
Yeah.
I mean, there's quite a few. I can't think of anything that's sort of come to mind.
Yeah.
But there are. You've
been gifted in the past. Yeah.
Quite a few. Again, I think it was the same ex-girlfriend many years ago, and I've still got it. It was this studded belt, with studs and diamantes on it.
Nice.
It was from that era that I was talking about
roll.
before. I've still got it.
Yeah.
It was, and she got it in South Moulton Street. I discovered must have cost a fortune. I still have it.
That'll go nicely with the Slazenger V-neck.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. That one always comes to mind. But in recent years, it's been, the music tech, sort of stuff, anything to do with music tech.
Yeah.
Always really, really good. You know. But you really have to go back to, when you was a kid.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I do have a memory of, probably when I was probably like 5 or 6 or something, where you get like a few presents, and you get up early.
Yeah.
He's been.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like a little tiny railway set, I remember.
Yeah, nice.
Was one which I loved. And yeah, really, really, I remember those really well.
Yeah.
That particular one, I remember that. I think it was everything.
Yep.
That a fort with soldiers.
Yeah.
You know what it's
real
like.
good stuff as a kid. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, anyone I remember really.
Yep.
After that, I remember you got any toys? They were always broken for some reason.
Yeah.
You know, they were
Yep.
broken. I don't know why. I don't know why that was. What about yourself?
Something weirdly, things like if someone gets you like a good book, if someone's put a bit of thought into it, and they think, I know George might really like this sort of book because I know he's into X, Y, and Z. I really appreciate the thought that's gone into it. And a book, something that can occupy your time for a bit of time. So something like that. But as like you say, going back to being a kid, when you got toys and the real good stuff as a kid, Father Christmas has been. There was one year that me and my brother had a collective gift for both of us. It was this massive box. And we opened it in a Sky Electric set.
Wow!
And it was from Father Christmas. And I didn't even know I wanted one before. But as soon as I saw it, it was this massive box. We opened it, and then all day we put it together. And then even though the track was like an oval and the cars go round and round, it just kept us engrossed for hours, just holding down, seeing how fast you could get the cars to go around the bend before they fly off. I love that. I like even something like I was given a Connects box one year, a Connects to build stuff, and then I sat there on Christmas morning, so we got up really, really early, woke up our parents mega early, obviously, and then they went back to bed. So I just sat downstairs building this sort of crane that had like a movable, arm on it and stuff, and it was all really cool. I think.
Well, coming on to music, last year, my partner got me. It was unexpected, absolutely brilliant. I think I had it stolen, not stolen. I never got to give him back years ago. It was an album by a 70s band called Golden Earring.
Okay.
Moontown, that's right. And it was the first pressing.
Oh, amazing.
So it was on Track Records.
Amazing.
It had the inner sleeve, but it also had the pull-out inner sleeve notes on it.
Yep.
I think the cover was banned in the end or whatever.
Okay.
A little bit like Electric Ladyland, whatever. And I have that, and it was in absolutely mint condition.
Nice.
It was practically, it looked brand new, but it wasn't, one of the recent year reissues.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was actually... catalog
Amazing.
number, no barcode.
That is an absolute find.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
really brilliant.
Yeah.
So, what makes a great Christmas song?
Well, as in Justin Hawkins references, lyrical content. You need Christmassy lyrics. There's a lot of Christmas songs that don't really reference Christmas. You need talking about family, fun, Father Christmas, snow, sleigh bells. You need the lyrical content, I think, to set the scene.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's definitely lyrics. I'd also say production, very, very important.
Yeah.
And bells.
Yeah, but absolutely. Sleigh bells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to be in there.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think as soon as sleigh bells are so... The association with Christmas, sleigh bells, Father Christmas, as soon as you hear sleigh bells, that's half the battle done.
The ones that have lasted seem to all have bells in them.
Yep.
Which we will come on to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whatever. And... it's really interesting how we have, and it still exists now as well, where we have charity Christmas records.
Yes.
Band-Aid was the big one.
The massive one.
Where you recorded it in a day, on a
Yep.
Sunday at the end of November.
Okay.
Let me see if I can remember the date. Anyone can correct me, just off the top of my head. November the 24th, 1984.
A month before Christmas Eve.
Yeah, it may have been November the 25th or 6th, but it was around there.
Yeah.
And I think it was at Psalm West Studios, in West London.
Oh, wow, okay. Yeah, because you can see in the video where all the stars are arriving, aren't they, in the limos and walking to West London. Okay, that makes sense.
And they all did it for free.
Yep.
I think the doc's up on YouTube, actually, of that particular day.
There must have been a really, really quick turnaround. So if they were recording at the end of November, and it would have been released for the Christmas push for number one.
It was released within days.
Wow, no, the amount of singers that were on that track that needed to be mixed. They must have been working, burning the candle on both ends to get that finished in time.
Oh, I agree. And I think that the American one, they took 3 months doing that. I think it was We Are the World,
Yep.
But with that, it's still played. It still raises money. And the offspin of that was Wham's Last Christmas.
Last Christmas.
The publishing, I believe it's the publishing royalties and the mechanical royalties. Ever since it was released, George Michael and Andrew Ridgeley, who were in Wham,
Yep.
have donated the royalties to the Band-Aid Trust.
Oh, awesome.
And it still exists now.
Also, it's interesting you mentioned that. I'm pretty sure Last Christmas missed out on number one chart spot in 84, but so they missed out on the top spot to the first Band-Aid, which George was also in.
That's understandable.
Yeah, they got number two. They're pushing obviously for number one, but then Band-Aid came along very quickly. George got involved, so he was involved in both number one and number two for that year.
And there was also a legal case over Last Christmas with Barry Manilow.
Barry Manilow strikes again.
Can't Smile Without You.
Yes,
The melody, was supposed to have been the same.
So you know what? So when I was doing my research, I listened to this last night, and I couldn't hear it myself. And the case was ultimately dropped, but he obviously felt he had been wronged in some degree. But the case was dropped, or didn't. It was dismissed, shall I say?
I think we should do an episode on that particular
Topic.
subject. Yeah,
There's been a lot recently featuring our friend Ed Sheeran.
season 3 or season 4.
Yeah.
I think we'll definitely get that in.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely worth talking about.
Absolutely, because I think there's been quite a few, and there's a whole argument of can anything be original anymore? Can music be original? So yeah, we can definitely dive into that. I think it'll be very interesting.
And of course, we have you talk about Christmas albums. The greatest Christmas album, without a doubt. I mean, there's probably it could be the Elvis Christmas album,
Yeah.
or whoever. But really, the greatest Christmas album has to be Phil Spector's Christmas album.
Yeah, classic.
Recorded in very hot weather in July.
Very festive.
In the very early 60s.
Yep.
Every track is still played.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk anything personal about Phil Spector.
Yeah.
What we talk about is his great production.
Well, the music stands up. The production, the wall of sound was very revolutionary.
And there are no Christmas records. There's a lot that have imitated that.
Yep.
And some people have done really well, like Roy Wood,
Yep.
very underrated musician and producer who's still with us.
Yep.
I wish it could be Christmas every day. It's pure Phil Spector.
Absolutely.
I remember hearing him talk about it, and he said they recorded that track in July,
Yeah.
and they put Christmas trees up in the studio,
Yeah.
and it was boiling hot outside.
Yeah, I bet. And you're in Christmas jumpers.
Just
probably.
to get
the feel going.
get the feeling. That song, that track is.
Well, it's a great
the
point.
test of time.
It's a great point because when you think about the production, it's quite dense. There's a lot going on. I wish it could be Christmas every day. There's a lot of elements there. You got jingle bells, the drums. It's just stacked up. It's pure Phil Spector. In like the production.
But during that, I mean, it was never a new thing. It was never a new thing, and like during that period, especially during that period, there was a lot of people, especially like in the 60s, that released stuff.
Yeah.
Ella Fitzgerald, Santa Claus is Coming to Town.
Classic.
James Brown, although I think that's the 70s, Soulful Christmas.
Okay.
Dean Martin, Let It Snow, which is always the first one you hear,
Yeah.
with the Andy Williams medley. The Ventures, Sleigh Ride, is another one I can think of.
Yeah.
Otis Redding, Merry Christmas Baby.
Yeah.
The Temptations, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Nice.
Yeah, the Beach Boys, Little Saint Nick.
Oh, yeah.
That's how else we can think of. Oh, the Beatles always used to do flexi disc singles.
Okay.
And always, saying thank you to their fans.
Yep.
And always used to put flexi discs with things that would be on a magazine. They used to,
Oh, I see.
They used to give it to their fan club members that
Yep.
bought the fan club magazine.
That's nice.
I think they're probably worth a lot of money these
Yeah, I
days.
bet if someone's got one kicking about in their attic.
Louis Armstrong, Is That You, Santa Claus? Classic.
Classic.
70s, R2-D2 and C-3PO. Star Wars.
I've never heard of this.
Doing Sleigh Ride, yeah.
I would love to hear this. I'm going to have to go take to YouTube afterwards to have a listen.
Johnny Cash, I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day.
Nice.
Ray Charles, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Classics. Absolutely classics of yesteryear, which we don't get that sort of stuff anymore. Like we'll talk about later on. Like the Christmas songs are making a bit more of a comeback, but absolute gold.
But the 50s, one of my favourites, Run Rudolph Run, Chuck Berry.
Classic.
Oh, absolutely. And I think just coming off the Christmas topic for a second, although it's accepted that he wrote the most famous guitar riff of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, you even see it in the Back to the Future movie.
Yeah.
And it's on Voyager,
Is it?
which is outside the solar system. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Johnny B. Good is on that.
Awesome.
The one thing that's often overlooked about Chuck Berry is what a fantastic lyricist he was. Mm-hmm. Everyone goes on about what a great inventor of the guitar, that particular guitar riff that he had, but his lyrics are quite fantastic. It's poetry, and in some cases it's Shakespeare. I mean, it's really, really, really
Underrated.
Yeah, all his songs from that era, 56, 57 to 60.
Yeah.
If you really listen to those lyrics, including Run Rudolph Run.
Yeah.
Really, really well thought out
Yeah,
planned
clever
lyrics.
Yeah. I suppose maybe in some senses he might be a victim of like his own success, because Johnny Be Good is such an iconic riff that straight away, like certain singers get paired with certain songs, even though they might have a massive back catalogue. To like average audience, to the layman, Johnny Be Good, the riff is instantly recognisable.
Fantastic.
Yeah, but absolutely.
So coming back to the Christmas songs, we mentioned like lyrics and production and bells.
Yeah.
And you mentioned lyrics as
Yeah.
well, and things about family
Yeah.
and being all together.
And even also a good music video. Now,
But the one most important thing I believe is they all have a message.
yeah,
If it's Christmas or the family getting together or whatever it is, or there are one or two political ones.
Yeah.
If you actually read into them, what the lyrics are, the message is really, really important. You haven't got a message.
Yeah.
Even if Santa Claus is coming to town, it's still a message.
Yeah.
You have to get that over.
Yeah.
You haven't got that.
Yeah.
You're out of the water,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
And I think a classic version of that, which we'll talk about our favourites shortly, is I Believe in Father Christmas, Greg Lake. Mm-hmm. There's something that's really hopeful about that song, but also something that is quite the opposite.
Yeah.
And he says, I wish you a hopeful Christmas. I wish you a brave new year. All anguish, pain and sadness. Leave your heart and let your road be clear. They said there'll be snow at Christmas. They said there'll be peace on earth. Hallelujah, no. Be it heaven or hell, the Christmas we get is the Christmas that we deserve. Amazing.
Yeah, deep. That is, amazing. I've never really paid like close attention to his lyrics.
So deep. And a wonderfully scored orchestra.
Yeah.
Accompanying the track.
Yeah, it's a great track, and often again it kind of sits on the fringes when talked about other great Christmas songs. Maybe good because it is so deep, and people maybe look past that at times. But classic.
So the $1 million question, George. What are your favourites?
$1 million question. Well, okay. So, as we've already discussed, we've talked about Wham already. Last Christmas is obviously a classic every year. But interestingly, I know we've said lyrics are important and a clear message. Even Andrew Ridgeley has said himself, it's not really a Christmas song. It's a song about love and I thought a breakup that happens to be set at Christmas. But yeah, it's become one of the biggest Christmas songs. What I find really interesting about Last Christmas is for 36 years, it was the best-selling UK single to not hit the top spot, with over 2 million copies sold. You always, like you mentioned earlier, it got beaten by the Band-Aid in '84, and then for 36 years, the best-selling UK single, not to reach the top spot. In 2017, after George's tragic passing, there was a fan campaign, and the single got to number 2, and it wasn't until 2021 that it finally reached number 1, where it beat Mariah Carey with Black Classic. I think that's a great song, even though it's not, overtly Christmas in the lyrics, even though it says Last Christmas and it's all about heartbreak. The video is very Christmassy, set on that sort of ski lodge somewhere. And it's got the jingle bells, it's got like catchy, easy sing-alongable, lyrics. And like you said, although it's not particularly Christmassy as such, it's got a clear message. And it's a love song set at Christmas, which I'm sure a lot of people can relate to, because everyone at Christmas thinks about their loved ones and the family, and even maybe lost, and people who've lost, and relationships that have been lost. So very, very nice. I think it's a classic. As you mentioned briefly earlier, it's a big song every year. And it's nice that it finally got to number 1 in 2021, because long overdue.
They're underrated, Brian.
Yeah.
Looking back on it, they were really underrated.
Yeah.
That's a classic.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. What about you?
I would definitely say that, I mentioned Run Rudolph Run before, but Wendy and Lisa, the end of the year,
Okay.
who were in the Revolution with Prince.
Yeah.
It's not often heard.
No.
Again, it's like the Greg Lake production. It's huge production.
Yeah.
And it builds and climbs
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
And it has lyrics of hope.
Yeah.
There's 2 different choirs in it. There's a children's choir, and then I think there's an adult choir in it as well.
Yeah.
But the song just climbs up and up and up.
Builds and builds and builds.
Any of you that haven't heard it, it should be in your Christmas collection, really.
Okay.
It just says it all. And again, it has a great message.
Yeah. You heard it here first. Awesome. Well, I'm going to add that to my collection this year as well, actually, because I think we often find, don't we, like you hear the same sort of 5 songs on loop, at Christmas. Even if they are classics, you have the same 5 songs and people kind of get bored quickly. So things that may be a bit more left field, great discoveries. So this is definitely going to go into my list of this year. Let's talk about one that's also similarly, not similarly. It took a little bit of time for this to gain some recognition. Let's say Chris Rea, "Driving Home for Christmas," the 1986 Christmas song, which didn't achieve fame really, or achieve its potential, let's say, until a good 20 or 30 years afterwards, almost, with like the internet and stuff. The first version was initially released as a B-side to his single "Hello Friend" in '86. So it was a B-side. So in 1988, it was re-recorded as the 4th single in his album in December, where it peaked at number 53. So it didn't do great things. But then, similarly to the George Michael "Wham" song, this song has appeared in the UK singles charts every year since 2007, and the highest it reached was 10th in 2021. So again, it's kind of been on the fringes, but everyone knows it, everyone sings along. Interestingly, it was voted 12th best song on an ITV special about the nation's favourite Christmas song.
Really?
Yeah. So that was I think that was in 2007.
Underrated songwriter, and definitely an underrated guitar player as well. He's a great slide player.
Yeah.
Very, very underrated.
Yeah, and I think the song is, it's quite an interesting story about the song and how it got written. So as we know, he was almost his music career wasn't doing amazingly in '78, but so he finished a session at Abbey Road, and then his wife was picking him up to drive him back to Middlesbrough because the record, he was out of label, he didn't have a contract, and his previous label wouldn't pay for his train fare back to Middlesbrough, so his wife picked him up. And he said that he was sitting in, horrible traffic, and everyone was looking really miserable, and it started to snow. And that's when he came up with the idea of Driving Home for Christmas. He calls it a car Christmas carol. It started to snow, and he said he was writing down the lyrics in between driving past lampposts when he had light in the car, so he could write down the lyrics. He said he wrote the song for Van Morrison initially, but couldn't get it to him, so he released it himself. And in years gone by, it's become a classic. Interestingly, he didn't play it live until 2013 at the Hammersmith Odeon, the first time. Yeah, he said he was getting badgered by his road crew to play it. So he said, "Do you know what? Then, if we're gonna play this damn song, we're gonna do it properly." They hired 12 snow cannons, and they said they covered the stalls in 3 foot of snow, and then he had to pay the venue £12,000 for the clean-up job afterwards.
He would.
But what a great story! 12 snow cannons, First time he played it, because he isn't renowned for his like stage presence and his charisma on stage.
Yeah.
He's very much stick to his songs and plays them. One last point, it was covered by Engelbert Humperdinck,
right,
and of all people, Stacey Solomon.
Wow.
So who knows?
So he would have been very happy with MCPS with that, I would think.
Yeah, great story.
Furthering that, I think he said that when they drove home back to Middlesbrough, him and his wife had very little money, and when they opened the front door, there was a cheque from MCPS on the doormat.
Nice.
For a song, because it always takes quite a while, for mechanical royalties to come through. One of his songs called, I think it was "Fool If You Think It's Over," had been covered by.
Oh yes.
I think Elkie Brooks was one artist, and somebody else covered it.
Yeah.
And they ended up having a really good Christmas.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a great story.
It's a great story, lovely story. Yeah. That's really nice, and I'm glad this song again has kind of got recognition in recent years.
So my next one, everyone knows it, but it's been a grower. When it first came out in the 1990s, it wasn't such a huge song, but over the years it's grown and grown and grown, and it's "All I Want for Christmas," Mariah Carey.
Oh, absolute classic. Absolute classic.
Drive-in bass line.
Yeah.
Sounds like Randy Jackson playing bass on that or whatever.
Yeah.
But it has there's touches of Phil Spector in it.
Yeah.
There's touches, but the thing about that particular Christmas song is that it is so happy.
Yeah.
It's so happy.
Yeah. Every year, it is, and it just puts you in the mood straight away because it's got the production, Spector's production, it's got the bells, the lyrical content, the drums, dun 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 dun.
And she co-wrote it.
Oh, nice! Didn't know that.
Yeah, she co-wrote it.
That's made a pretty penny.
I should think so. That it's a classic now.
Yeah.
It's going to last forever.
Oh, absolutely.
And your next one.
Okay. Interestingly, by the way, people call Mariah Carey now the Queen of Christmas, but I will mention someone else that people also consider to be the Queen of Christmas, Darlene Love. Darlene Love. So she had obviously the big Phil Spector song. You mentioned Spector earlier. A big Phil Spector song, Christmas, Baby Please Come Home. But the one I'm going to mention, which was featured in the Home Alone Lost in New York soundtrack.
The second movie?
Yes, All Alone at Christmas.
That's right, it was.
Released in 92. Massive song. Featured on the soundtrack. I love Home Alone films 1 and 2, as we mentioned before, absolute classics. It was Home Alone 1 and 2 was given to me and my brother many a moon ago by my great auntie Beryl, who sadly passed recently. So they're great films. It's a great song. It's one of those ones again I've discovered. It wasn't always on my playlist when I first got into like Christmas music, but now I think there's so much depth to it. The song it was written and arranged by Steve Van Zandt of the E Street Band, who of course has written music for Springsteen, Meatloaf, and Pearl Jam. He's also weirdly an actor in The Sopranos.
Yes, and Lilyhammer, the follow-up to it.
Yes, exactly. He's in that as
on
well.
Netflix. Oh yeah. What a great series that was as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But the song only reached number 31 in the UK, which is a shame. But I think it's a great track. Paired with a great film, which I absolutely love. The single was released. It contained a B-side of an instrumental version, as well as, interestingly, in Home Alone 2 Lost in New York, the Uncle Frank is singing in the shower a song called Cool Jerk by the Capitals, and they've covered that as well on the single, which is pretty fun. Heavily influenced by Phil Spector, like I mentioned, the Wall of Sound. She even references her previous song. The video is great as well. Great Christmas video. Features Macaulay Culkin and scenes from the film, as well as members of E Street Bands. And the Miami Horns are playing. So videos of E Street Band and the Miami Horns are in the video. Just a quick note about Home Alone 2 Lost in New York. Because the film grossed 359 million worldwide. It's the third highest grossing film of 92. Random question. Do you know what films beat it for the second and first spot as being the biggest films of 92? Because the next one above it's, pretty big, I guess.
Oh, 92.
It's got a classic soundtrack. People, it's got the song that people would recognise, particularly for the second spot, but also for number one, actually.
I'm going to say Pulp Fiction.
Oh, great guess. Great guess. But second place was The Bodyguard.
Of course,
had the big track. And number one was Disney's Aladdin, featuring Robin Williams as a genie, and again had massive songs in that as well.
Wow.
So kind of three, particularly those two big soundtracks, and also Home Alone, the John Williams soundtrack.
We're going to Steve Van Zandt.
Yes.
Miami Steve Van Zandt. The band called him Miami Steve Van Zandt because I think when he turned up to join the band, he had a Hawaiian, Hawaiian shirt on.
All the pictures I've seen of him.
He'd been on holiday in Miami or something.
Yeah.
He is on another Christmas record, another famous Christmas record. Yeah, I've just thought of it, which is a cover of Santa Claus is Coming to Town.
Oh, awesome.
Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band, and it's live.
Is it?
Yeah, it's live. Yeah, it
is.
Awesome. Yeah.
Very talented guy.
It's a really, really great version of it.
Yeah.
Well. You can sound like they're having fun on stage.
Yeah. That's what it should be. A Christmas song should be fun, ultimately, shouldn't it, as well?
So, one more from me. It has to be my ultimate Christmas song. Has to be Fairy Tale in New York by the Pogues.
I feel like a lot of people would agree with that, myself included. I think that's an absolutely brilliant Christmas song.
Again, the lyrics and the message are really not nice.
No, dark.
They are.
Cynical.
They are. Most superb lyrics.
Yeah.
I do know that the late great Kirsty MacColl was not the first choice to do the duet with Shane MacGowan on that, but it turned out that she was perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
Absolutely perfect.
She matched his vocal, and she kind of gave as good as she got, and the cynicism in the lyrics, it was all of it.
But it has a lot of memories for me because in the very, very early 90s, it was about 91, I was going over on the boat for Christmas to Dublin.
Yeah.
I'd never been to Dublin before.
Okay.
And that was playing on the boat.
Yeah.
Coming into the North Wall.
Lovely.
The harbour.
Yeah.
It wasn't Dunleary, it was the North Wall.
Yeah.
It was just magical.
It sticks with you now.
It was magical.
Amazing.
Yeah. And it, the lyrics are really, really, really not nice.
No.
But it just works.
Yeah.
Production for its time is also superb.
Yeah. The Pogues. I agree, and I think that's the interesting contrast. It's a very dark and cynical kind of tone to the lyrics, and the overall, the sort of music itself is very festive, and you get pulled in by the melody, but then when you listen to what's actually being said,
and unusually, I don't think there's any bells on it. I can't remember. I could be wrong. You can correct us on the realityjukebox.com, Instagram.
Nice
or
plug.
on Twitter. We are going to put something up on there as well. I got given quite a few years back. We'll put the picture up of it, and it says this year's Christmas #1, and it's in a Polydor Records mail bag, and there was a 7-inch single inside it.
Oh, amazing.
We're not going to say what it is, but what we'll do is we'll put it up and then we'll take the record out. We'll do
Yeah.
2 pictures
Do a
of
little-
it.
we'll do a video
I'm
unveiling.
hunting around for it at home. It's somewhere. It is somewhere, and I will find
Yeah.
it. If I do find it, we'll put it up on Instagram and Twitter.
Absolutely.
And what we might do is we might just put this year's Christmas #1, and then a couple of days later, you can write, you can tweet or Insta in and say what you think is in there.
Yeah.
And then we'll show you what the single was.
Absolutely.
You'll be really surprised
Yeah.
when you find out what it is. It wasn't a #1 Christmas record. Yeah, it says Christmas #1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
So yeah, they're mine. So George.
Yeah, so I think I've got my favourite Christmas song to mention, but beforehand, I've got to give a little shout out to Boney M, because my granddad, this is his favourite Christmas song, and him being from Jamaica, Boney M being like a Jamaican band, disco sort of funk band from the 70s. Every year, Mary's Boy Child is on full blast at my house, several times in the run up. It was actually a cover of a 1956 song by Harry Belafonte, interestingly.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
It was.
And they put their sort of spin on it, and upbeat. It's got that upbeat sort of disco-y sort of feel to it.
Well, Boney M's production is good enough for Lady Gaga, to sample.
Yeah, absolutely.
They were huge.
Yeah.
But a lot of their songs, especially that one and the other Christmas, Rivers of Babylon,
Rivers of Babylon
have survived.
Yeah, their song Rasputin has been taken under for a viral dance sort of craze on TikTok. So, hope that it's interesting how in 2022, Boney M, Rasputin's getting danced to by everybody on TikTok. There's loads of it's gone viral. There's thousands
It
of
was
videos.
in the Doctor Who special.
Was it?
Yeah,
Awesome.
Jodie Whittaker's last.
Very current, very relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great track. The original lineup is Liz Mitchell and I believe it's Marcia
Good old
Barrett
Liz.
from Jamaica.
Yeah.
Maisie Williams from Montserrat, and Bobby Farrell from
The late
Aruba.
Bobby Farrell, yeah.
Bobby Farrell's what I love watching Bobby Farrell. When you watch him on stage, the man is just endless energy and his dancing.
I think they sold near on 100 million albums.
Really?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, rightly so. I think
Most of those I think 70 or 80 million of those were when they were successful, not afterwards.
Oh, great! So they're very kind of respect.
The German production.
Yeah.
From Germany.
Yeah,
I can't remember his surname. It was Frank. I can't remember his
Frank
surname.
Farian.
Yeah, that's it.
Nice,
Well
good
done.
knowledge.
Yeah, well done.
Frank Farian. Mary's Boy Child's platinum certified, which is great. There's 2 music videos. One was made in '78 and one in '88 to promote the remix. 10 years later,
Right.
it got a remix, so it got more longevity. The remix is very similar to the original, I think, but they're both great songs and great feel, and just a feel good song really. Also worth noteworthy mention, Jackson 5. I Saw Mummy Kissing Santa Claus. Obviously, I think they released a Christmas album under Motown in the 70s. It's got a lot of charm to it and a lot of love, and it sounds really warm and nice. But the Jackson 5 covered this song. It was written by Tommy Connor. It was first recorded by Jimmy Boyd back in 1952 when he was 12, which is crazy. And interesting, there was objections to the lyrics raised by church groups because they could be considered somewhat risque. I Saw Mummy Kissing Santa Claus. Church groups objected, even to the extent of certain radio stations in Boston banned the song. It's a Christmas song. It was banned. Sung by a 12-year-old kid, and it's crazy. I love the Jackson 5 cover. It's got a lot of charm to it. When the Jacksons recorded it, Michael was 11, I think, 11 or 12 as well, which is crazy. And Tommy Connor wrote the lyrics. It's been covered by a lot of people, so it must have made Tommy Connor a pretty penny. Everybody from the Beverly Sisters, the Ronettes, even Amy Winehouse. It's a timeless song, but I particularly love the Jackson 5 version because it's got a lot of charm to it. It's warm, and the Jackson 5 Christmas special, just great.
And the next one?
The next one, lastly, for me, though, my favourite, The Darkness, Christmas Time, the 2003 banger, released 15th of December 2003. Justin Hawkins and co. I've got a lot of love for The Darkness anyway. The Permission to Land album for me was massive. I got it, I think, that year at Christmas in 2003. Absolutely massive. Glam rock stars. I just think everything about it. It's got the bells. It's like the lyrical content. The first words we hear: feigning joy and surprise at the gifts we despise of a mulled wine with you. Again, very cynical.
It ties up.
Very cynical, but straight away, he's mentioning joy and surprise, gifts, mulled wine. He's mentioned himself that a Christmas song needs to hit with Christmas lyrics straight away. So it's fair that he did it himself. Interestingly as well, it was odds-on favourite for 2003 to be Christmas #1, according to sales information.
It should have been.
Yeah, so the song was #1 all week apparently until the Saturday. And do you remember what pipped him off?
The first X Factor.
No, you know what? Close. It was on the last day they were beaten by Gary Jules and Michael Andrews, the Tears for Fears cover of Mad World.
That's right.
Pipped him off the last day. But they reckon the stats say there was about 5,000 records between 5,000 sales between the two.
Because up until recent years, well, firstly, what I'd say about that track was it was the song that Queen and Thin Lizzy never recorded.
Those dual guitars, the big drum fill at the beginning. Yeah,
it was brilliant.
The falsetto vocal,
and it was probably the last great Christmas record until recent years.
Until recently,
because they've come back again.
Yeah,
we'll come on to that in a second, but. It's a great record.
Oh, it is, and I think the song reportedly raked in 1 million per month to begin with, which is crazy numbers. But it's got all of it. It's like the big rock drum feel, the falsetto, the dual Queen-style guitars. It's even got the choir of kids, which is a bit of a throwback to the Wizard song, maybe. It's got all of it. Justin Hawkins himself says that we see ourselves as a two-hit wonder band because I believe in a thing called Love, released at a similar time, and also Christmas time. The song was platinum certified.
Well, the legend is they paid for their own first album.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was a jingle writer. He wrote, I think it was the year before that, the IKEA global campaign.
Oh.
He wrote the jingle for it.
Awesome.
Hard to find on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's there, though.
I mean, that's amazing, though. I'm really glad. I have a lot of love for The Darkness. I think 2003, I got the album Permission to Land at Christmas.
Gifted.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gifted.
Yeah, he's really great. He's a great songwriter.
He knows a lot about music as well, and catalogue and stuff like that. Yeah, no, respect.
He's got a really, really great YouTube channel as well. He's always putting out content. He's brilliant. So that's, for me, my top one.
There's one song that we haven't spoken about, and probably... we have to finish off on it, really, and it's probably in the UK. It's probably the biggest Christmas song that there's ever been, and probably will be, and that is
"It's Christmas."
It is Merry Xmas or Merry Christmas, everybody.
Of course it
by
is.
Slade.
Of course it is.
There's lyrics in that as well.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting. Are you waiting for the family to arrive?
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure you've got some room to spare inside? Does your granny always tell you that the old songs are the best? Then she's up rocking and rolling with the rest.
Yeah.
And this goes on every decade. There's not good music anymore.
Yeah.
And,
not like they used to be.
But I disagree with that.
Yeah.
I was a kid, there was a lot of rubbish as well.
Yeah.
But that song...
Oh, banger. The intro, it's Christmas. That alone is, is a hook. It's iconic. And then the song itself,
Yeah.
It's just so catchy, and every year, fair play. They must have made a pretty penny as well from that. And
I think I heard Noddy Holder say that it's been a very good pension.
I bet it's been a very, very good pension. Yeah, better than my pension.
everywhere you go, you hear it.
Yeah,
this time of year.
Yeah, you can't escape it. It's fun. It puts you in the mood. It's a good Christmas party song as well.
But it has the most fantastic middle eight in it.
Yeah.
What do you do?
It gets a bit dark. Yeah.
Well, it was pure John Lennon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Quintessential John Lennon.
Very much of the time.
With the organ underneath it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think they recorded that in New York.
Really?
Yes, they recorded that in New York. Again, July time.
Yeah.
And he'd had the idea for the song for about 10 years.
Yep.
But there was no, I didn't think it was a Christmas lyric or whatever.
Yeah.
Really good Noddy Holder. Slade, I saw them live. There was a second incarnation when they made the comeback.
Yep.
Never made it in America.
Yep.
They did have hits, I think, on the second incarnation, which was around about the new wave of British heavy metal era,
Yep.
which is what I really remember.
Yeah.
but the success they have had with other artists
Yep.
covering their songs, because they never really made it in America.
Okay.
Quiet Riot
Yeah.
had a number one single. I think somebody else had a huge hit with one of their songs.
Yeah.
Oasis have covered.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Come On Feel the Noise, I think Oasis
didn't
have
know
covered.
that.
Yeah.
Nice.
But they were always known as a great live band.
Yeah.
But that song,
Holds up. All of their songs hold up
Yeah.
still, like particularly at louder volumes as well. It just sounds awesome. What I love, again, I think they recorded 2 videos. So there's the original video, the music, like traditional music video, and there was a live performance recording from, I think it was in Denmark, I think. And the band were last on the bill, so they've been sitting in the green room, obviously getting drunk and having a good time. By the time they come out, I think they're a bit sloshed. And as a drummer, I'm always listening to drums. This second music video, you've got to see it, because the drummer's timing just slips, and it's really funny because you see the people, you see the band look at him and are laughing because his drum fills are falling more and more out of time, and he's getting more and more vigorous with them, and more and more ambitious, but the timing is falling away. But everybody's having a lot of fun. You see, obviously it's a live act, and it's a great time. But I just love seeing the drums fall more and more away because it's just absolute gold.
and of course, the one thing that we haven't mentioned about Slade is, well, there's 2 things. Was one about Slade and Noddy Holder. First one was Slade, Reeves and Mortimer.
Yeah.
The comedy sketches at home with Slade,
Yeah.
or on holiday with Slade, or whatever. Classic.
Oh, classic.
But also Noddy Holder. Have you ever seen the ITV comedy The Grimleys?
You're Gordon Grim. Yeah, I used to watch that with my
He
family
was the
years
music
and years
teacher
ago.
in it.
Was he?
Yeah, he was the
Wow.
music. Yeah, Neville. Neville. Yeah.
I remember we used to watch that back with my family. It was years and years ago now.
Brilliant.
Throwback. What a great reference.
And he can act. He
Yeah.
can act as well.
Yeah.
Do it all. So
Amazing.
it's interesting because in recent years there has been a comeback.
Yeah.
We had a long gap without Christmas records. Weren't really given a chance.
Yeah.
Songs at Christmas. It was, reality television sort of clouded it out.
Yeah.
But in recent years, you've seen Ed Sheeran and Elton John.
Yeah.
Gwen Stefani.
Gwen Stefani released a Christmas album. She is one of my favourite sort of new songs is Gwen Stefani and Blake Shelton, her husband, 2017 release. She Make It Feel Like Christmas. Great song. It's a real kind of like throwback in style, Motown sort of drums, the sort of choir, and it's really the lyrics, very very Christmassy. I love that. Sia,
of course, yeah.
Santa's Coming for Us.
Yeah.
Very funky feel, great
Yeah.
upbeat, very modern, very well done. Production's on point. Sia's a brilliant singer, obviously. Yeah, but I mean, like you said, Justin Bieber's done one, Ariana Grande's, I think they are making, again, I think more of a comeback with the internet as well. It's easier to distribute, than ever. And it's really nice to see that we seem to be in that period
It's come
now.
back.
Yeah, rather than songs that aren't Christmassy,
Yeah.
getting the number 1 spot for whatever reason.
And we'll be given the chance to compete with the, or be placed with the older songs.
Classics.
Some of the classics that we've been talking about.
Yeah, because Michael Bublé's covered a lot of classics. Again, he does a great job, and that's very much his remit. There's always that joke that Michael Bublé comes out of his cave at Christmas because that's when he seems to shift most of his albums.
So what are you doing for Christmas this year?
Christmas this year, I believe I'm going to be spending it with my family, seeing friends, eating, drinking, and being merry. I think, and relaxing.
Excellent.
What about you, Ross?
I'm going to be doing nothing.
Nice. Yeah, well done, rest.
Once nothing. Yeah.
Yep.
It's been a long year.
Oh yeah,
But nothing.
absolutely.
Well, I wish you a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Ross. It's been lovely chatting with you.
It's great, as always. And Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, everybody out there.
And please, if you've got anything to say, go to our Twitter account or our Instagram account or to our website where all the directions are on there, which is www.realityjukebox.com. And we both sincerely wish you all a very Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Hope Father Christmas is kind this year.
And a great New Year.
And a great New Year. Lovely. Till next time.
Bye.